Florida Real Estate Practice Exam, latest update 2026, questions and answers. Question 1. If the Federal Reserve votes to lower the discount rate, how will this likely affect interest rates on short-term credit? They will likely decrease, they will likely increase, they will remain the same, they will fluctuate unpredictably. Section 13, Slide 36. Question 2. A subject property has 4 bedrooms. A comparable property sold for $275,000 with only 3 bedrooms. The appraiser attributes $5,000 to the 4th bedroom. How is the adjustment made? Plus $5,000 to the comparable, minus $5,000 to the comparable, plus $5,000 to the subject, minus $5,000 to the subject. Section 16, Slide 82. Question 3. What are the similarities between a business brokerage and a real estate brokerage? Both deal with real property. Both require a real estate license. Both involve long-term liabilities. All of the above. Section 17, Slide 91. Question 4. An agreement in which only one party promises to perform without receiving a reciprocal promise to perform from the other party is called a unilateral contract, bilateral contract, executed contract, voidable contract. Section 11, Slide 49. Question 5. An open listing allows the owner to sell the property himself and to list it with any number of brokers. The first broker to secure a buyer gets a commission. True, false. Section 11, Slide 90. Question 6. The period of time during which the terms of a contract may be enforced according to the statute of limitations are 5 years for written contracts and 4 years for parole contracts, 4 years for written contracts and 5 years for parole contracts, 7 years for written contracts and 3 years for parole contracts, 10 years for written contracts and 5 years for parole contracts. Section 11, Slide 27. Question 7. Buffer zone is an area of land that separates different land use areas, connects commercial and residential areas, is designated for industrial use only, is owned by the federal government. Section 19, Slide 80. Question 8. What section is directly below Section 7 in a township? 18, 14, 6, 8. Section 10, Slide 54. Question 9. The Truth in Lending Act does not dictate to lenders how much interest rate to charge to a borrower, make bait and switch advertising a federal offense, inform borrowers of the true cost of obtaining a loan, require other information to be included in an ad when a triggering term is used. Section 13, Slide 203 and 205. Question 10. How many miles to one side of a township? 6, 36, 12, 24. Section 10, Slide 40. Question 11. The note contains which of the following? Payment schedule, loan amount, interest rate, the property deed, utility information, setbacks, building plans, blueprints, permits, love notes from the builder. Section 12, Slide 25. Question 12. What interest does a son hold in property if the mother held a life estate inherited from her spouse with the son inheriting upon her death? Remainder estate, life estate, leasehold estate, fee simple estate. Section 8, Slide 82. Question 13. What are the elements of a valid contract? Contractual capacity of the parties, offer and acceptance, legality of object and consideration, offer and acceptance only, written documentation and signatures, consideration and notarization. Section 11, Slide 34. Question 14. Which matches the definition of a gross lease? When the tenant pays a fixed rent and the landlord pays the taxes, insurance and utilities. When the tenant pays fixed rent plus property costs such as taxes, insurance and utilities. When the tenant pays rent based on gross sales. When the tenant pays a rent that can change in increments over time. Section 9, Slide 133. Question 15. Geraldo contracted with Sue for Sue to buy his property. When Geraldo backed out of the contract, refusing to sell it to her for no valid reason, Sue took Geraldo to court. The judge ruled in Sue's favor. Sue's contract was enforceable, unenforceable, void, voidable. Section 11 Slide 22. Question 16. When Bull rented his property, he collected a deposit of $2,000 and an advanced rent payment of $1,000. Which of the following options is Bull not allowed to do with the money? Place the money in an interest-bearing account and keep the interest for himself. Take out a surety bond with the clerk of the circuit court. Place the money in an interest-bearing Florida bank and give the tenant 75% of the interest earned. Place the money in a separate non-interest-bearing Florida bank. Section 7 Slide 114. Question 17. Which of the following documents may a real estate licensee complete? Buyer-broker agreement, deed, mortgage, promissory note. Section 11 Slide 42. Question 18. Compensatory damages are the amount of money equal to the extent of loss awarded to the damaged party when there has been a breach of contract, the amount of money paid to the broker for finding a buyer, the penalty paid for breaking a lease agreement, the tax levied on a property after a sale. Section 11 Slide 78. Question 19. Which sales professional is allowed to use the phrase realtor to describe his services? A sales associate who has joined his local board of realtors and the National Association of Realtors. A broker with an active real estate license that does not belong to any associations. An agent with more than 5 years of active selling experience. Anyone who has passed the broker level exam. Section 5 Slide 40.